What is up? I had the chance to officially see Makoto Shinkai's newest film, Suzume, in IMAX actually, which was a fantastic experience because all of his movies look so good as is. So I want to talk about it, give an actual review on the movie, tell you where I think it lands in between Your Name, Weathering with You, or Garden of Words if we want to go a real deep cut here. So let's get into it. So starting off with the basics, it is, of course, another kind of romance story, except this one is much more actiony than the other films that I've mentioned here. So this one features a girl, her name is Suzume, and she sets off to close these doors. When the doors are open, this worm-like creature comes out, causes earthquakes, causes disasters, and she is on a mission to close them. Now, it is worth noting that she is not the only main character. I would give a nod to Soda, who is the gentleman that you see in a lot of the posters. He is right side by side with her for most of the movie, and it's pretty good. Before I go any further, I do want to note I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free, at least to the climax as possible. I'm going to touch on some story beats here, and we'll just move from there. So the movie I thought was a bit slower, which is weird to say because I just watched Your Name recently with the GF, and that one was slower than I remembered then. This one, I felt I had a weird pacing issue where it was very good. It was lots of action. It was very cinematic, of course, but when the actual action bits were happening, there wasn't a lot of stakes because throughout most of the movie, they do close the door, you know, and you're kind of finding out more about what lies on the other side of this door. Now, there is a twist, I would say air quote twist, in the middle of the movie, which sets up a problem for Suzume to go solve. I saw it coming. I didn't exactly see it was the craziest thing. You know, even the main character, Soda, is like, oh, I figured it out. Like, yeah, I figured it out about 20 minutes ago as well. It's interesting. It did not ruin my enjoyment of the movie. I thought, of course, with all Makoto Shinkai's films, very, very, very beautiful, fantastic. Now, here's where I'm going to give points. I'm going to dock points on this one. The soundtrack. I got to touch on it. Okay, if you saw my meme review already as a YouTube short, if you've not, check it out. Click right here. I don't know if YouTube does that anymore, but they did not play the song from the trailer. They played it for 3 seconds when the title screen came up, okay? And then at the very end in the credits, after all of the actual, you know how they do like the, what is it called? Like a mid-credit where they kind of still showing bits of the movie, but then the credits comes on. That's when they kicked on the actual song. I was so blown away that they did that. I was like, in all of his other movies, they have a banger soundtrack. Even the instrumentals are so good, but then they have a couple, usually one, but there's been times where there's two, iconic songs that they will play over and over and over, and you will get it stuck in your head and you will love it and you will just thrive it. RADWIMPS is amazing. This one, no, not interested. Now, after the twist of this climax they opened it up to what I think they were trying to give a little bit of a more interesting spin on, because it turns into kind of a road trip movie after that, okay? And as part of the road trip, the character who is taking them to where they need to go get the Gidget, to go get the grand goal, he starts playing stuff on Spotify, just starts flicking on through, just starts playing this one, picking music for what he seems to deem the scenario we're going through at the time, which the songs were good. They were like actual, to my knowledge, you know, Japanese songs, and I liked it. It was very good, but it didn't have the same appeal to me as that RADWIMP setup with the instrumentals and that iconic song being played throughout the movie. Now, this might have been setting myself up for failure as well. I go into Makoto Shinkai films as a whole expecting to cry. Okay, full on. Me and all my friends do. We went to go see him. It was a boys' trip. We brought our girlfriends, but it's a boys' trip. We go into it fully expecting laying down the law. Don't look at me. If it gets sad, don't even touch me. I don't want to be brought out of the movie. I just want to sob and look straight forward. That's all I want. That's what I wanted of a Makoto Shinkai film. And, you know, he tried to go a little bit more action. He still kept the romance in there, which is iconic to what he does every single time. But I can't quite pinpoint why. I don't know if it was the action taking up too much, but I feel like Weathering with You had quite a bit of action as well. In this movie, I did not relate as much to the characters here. And the big, you know, climax or the event that opens to Soda, I don't know. I didn't feel sad at that point. If anything, there is a part with this cat character that we learn, and he has a sad part. That was probably the saddest part of the movie, you know, and it wasn't crying sad for me. The whole time I didn't think it was crying sad, and I felt very safe in both of these characters making it out of this movie. Whereas in the other ones, I was seeing people get their lives ruined. I wasn't sure they were ever going to see each other again. The stakes, which is so strange, the stakes in the other movies felt higher. And this one, I feel like they never quite showed them failing. They showed the first event happen, and it was like a 5.0 earthquake or whatever. And then they keep alluding like, oh my God, this touches down. It's going to mess everything up. And we don't see it. We never see it. Now, they do go to a lot of these doors to close, which happens in previous areas where like these natural events have happened, which you could say it's like, oh, here's what you're seeing. Here's what the worm has been able to do. Here's stuff that they've already destroyed. But it would have been nice to see some sort of failure happen. It seems like they won every single time. There was, of course, a sacrifice that had to happen halfway through the movie, but it didn't pull me in. It didn't have me on the edge of my seat. Now, I'd like to take a moment and talk to you people that go to AMC theaters, okay? I went to AMC. I had to see it in IMAX. My Cinemark local one was not playing, which is where I normally go to see it. We saw it in the IMAX chairs, and they are god-awful, horrendous chairs, okay? They don't recline, number one. They rock back and forth like this, but you're not going to recline. Your legs, there's no leg thing that comes out. There's nothing. So I'm just sitting there like I'm so uncomfy. And then I don't know if AMC is budgeting or if they're rationing out air conditioning, but it was hot. It was super hot in that film, and it was hot in the movie theater. It was hot in the lobby. I don't know what was going on. Obviously, this is nothing against the movie, but you AMC people, I didn't know how bad you guys were slumming it, okay? And I apologize. I highly recommend, if you can, check out a Cinemark, all right? Because you guys are, that's rough. That's like camping in the woods with no tent. That's tough. So I do want to touch back around. I want to give a little bit of input here from the GF. She liked it a lot. She was not a Your Name fan, and she said she liked this movie quite a bit. She thought it was very, very cute, very good. Now me, I love Your Name. I love Weathering with You, okay? Garden of Words, meh. But this one I still enjoyed. I just had a harder time getting into the characters for this one, and I can't tell you what that was, but it just was unable to relate to me, and there wasn't enough risk. You know, I was told what the risk was. I didn't feel the risk. Now, let's talk, if you can't already guess, where does this place in all of his other films, okay? I'm obviously going to keep Your Name number one. I feel like that was a cinematic masterpiece. It was beautifully done. It was amazing. It made me feel things. It made me cry. I loved it. Number two, I'm going to put Weathering with You, which I would view as kind of like a soft sequel to Your Name. You know, same universe. You get an appearance from one of the characters in that one. I put that as number two. Good, but not as good as Your Name. Number three, I'm going to put Suzume, which I don't want anybody to think that means the movie's not good. It was a good, enjoyable movie. I brought my girlfriend's cousin who saw it for the first time. He enjoyed it. He's not even an anime person at all. He's never seen an anime movie, period. He liked it. We all went out of there liking the movie, but we just did not think it was as good as his previous works. But number four, I'm putting Garden of Words, okay? Because you guys can skip that one. That was one of his early works. You can see he's improved since then. So it's at least not last place, okay? I want to end this review with, if you guys do get the chance to see it in IMAX, I highly recommend it. I think it was the first anime movie I've ever seen in IMAX, which I thought was an experience in and all of itself. So fantastic. And of course, Makoto Shinkai, his visuals are insane in every single movie that he's ever done. So give it a watch. I highly recommend it to you. They play this RADWIMPS song at the end, by the way. It's not the one that's in the trailer. It's not the one that I was complaining about not playing. They play a new one right at the end where they clap their hands a couple times. If someone can find me that song, that was fantastic. That was a great song, and it played right at the very end for probably 30 seconds. 10 out of 10 song. And now I turn it to you guys. If you guys have seen Suzume, let me know what you think. Are you planning on going to see it? Let me know. I'm interested to hear you guys' opinions on it because I know there's going to be a lot of different ones on this movie. Of course, if you guys have not, thank you guys so much for watching, but please subscribe. It does help me out a lot. And then of course, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. That's the best place to keep up to date with what we're doing and see how I'm doing in my just daily life, honestly, if you care about that. I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of the day.